what happened was, I was going to show a picture, but I remembered the first time we qualified for a trip. We were at St. Martin in our villa, WFG villa. I was swimming there and I was so happy, like, wow, is this really real? Like, you know, we have these trips and all that. And so I remember I was swimming and doing my laps. I love swimming. And then Dan, Charlene, and my husband, Francis, they were like having some conversations on the side. They said, you know, Francis, do you know who's your best recruit? And then my husband said, well, I don't know. Maybe he's thinking like his best rising star or whoever's the MD. And then he was pointed at me and said, there, your wife, she's your best recruit. And so I didn't know that, and Francis didn't think about it really, maybe it's just something, you know, but he just went to work. We became CEO, I think, in our 4 years, $500,000 income earner. And then I've always been a supportive spouse, taking care of the kids. I've never done any of the appointments. I was not doing any operations in the office, but one thing I didn't miss. I've always, you know, attended the convention, present in all the meetings, big events, and the BPMs that we have. And I remember, we didn't know that, again, 9 years later, there's going to be a switch. So what happened was, 7 years later, fast forward, we were CEO, and I think Francis was making about 650K. We decided, okay, this is it. This is our time to go back and do our mission work. WFG delivered, right? And so we were gone, and we were enjoying bringing the kids, doing all this missionary work, you know, exposing them. We were having a fun with the kids and just creating these memories and legacies with them. But and then, well, while we were there, he felt like the Lord's called him to really fulfill, you know, a next level mission in his life, which is in the filmmaking. So, and he felt that calling. So what happened was he said, you know what, I'm going to challenge you. Why don't you take over? If I want to succeed here and become the first Filipino producer in Oscars, you know, do it. And I said, oh no, and I almost fell on my chair because it's like, oh, like you guys, like I have so much fear. It's like, wow, can I really do it? It's like fear of failure and what if I don't make it and fear of rejection and all that kind of fear. But, you know, and I prayed about it, you know, I said no so many times, but I prayed. And then when I felt the calling, like, this is your new missionary journey now in WFG, so you take over and do this. And I said, oh, all right, Lord, I can't say no to that. And so I started just running from the front, and I said, you know, if I want to lead the team and make it big here, I have to excel, I have to do what's right, and I have to just give my best. And, you know, I have 3 field training, that's it, that's all I got. 1 from Francis, 1 from Luis Haig, my leader, mentor, and then 1 from one of our SMD, Peter Magno, and then I have to figure it out. And every time I go to Francis and I ask him, can you help me create a plan? He said, you know, figure it out first and then come to me. I said, oh no, he's not training me. So I thought I would get that help from him, but it's not happening. But again, you know, I just put my feet, you know, and started from scratch. And what happened is that really, because, you know, if I want to lead from the front and I want to be a best leader, I need to make sure that it's showing through my actions, right? Not just words. So again, I'm so honored because what happened was this year, this is my 3rd year, it was just a surprise, but, you know, I was awarded as the #1 year at a TFA exchange Las Vegas, #1 personal year over year, and actually #2 and #1 for the whole base shop for the TFA and securities. So I'm so proud of my team. And one thing that I'm really humbled and honored is there was one award called Rep with the Cleanest Business Award. So I didn't know what that meant, but I got a #1 and I said, wow, you know, I asked George, what is that for? And he said, you know, it's the quality, right, of the business. And I remembered that's right. Because of, you know, the comprehensive approach that we're helping families and giving them the best solutions and not leaving money on the table, right? So I've been doing just volumes of you know, quality of business, 5, 6 different apps, you know, when you sit down with a family. And I remember I only have 1 chargeback that I could remember, right? For my entire, this is my 3rd year, so thank God for that. And so it's really amazing. And I'm so in love with our crusade now. This is my missionary journey, and I don't have any regrets. If I only one regret, I wish that I have quit nursing long time ago, 11 years ago, and joined my husband Francis that time. But again, God has a perfect timing. So the financial rewards are really secondary here. I'm so amazed. So many people changed life, and I don't know if you're gonna see a video of one of our, his name is James Johnson, but he is one of our agent here that became quadriplegic through an accident. Eventually, because he has a policy with us, right, sustained him paid long-term care for the last 4 years. But what happened was they implanted a chip, a microchip in his brain. He was subjected to a research program that eventually had a breakthrough just last month that's going to change the world. And he started, he is the first person in the world that drive a car through his brain, through that chip. Yeah. And so, and Ford is actually teaming up with a research group because they're developing the technology in their car to drive a car remotely, right? So now, in the future, we'll have this technology where paralyzed quadriplegic people can drive a car because of that, because of him, right? He's one of our agents here. So I'm so proud of him, James. But really amazing. But again, as I close here, I want to just encourage everybody, some nuggets with you guys. A couple of things. If you have a spouse, remember, your spouse is your best recruit. They can be your next level, you don't know. And then I'm just proud of the environment, never miss a meeting. I have amazing leaders, Dan, Luis, Steve, Lauren, all those great people. My team, Alpha Omega, you saw them in Mandalay Bay earlier. But again, and then the second thing I want to leave with you guys, and the third thing is that cultivate a higher why. Okay? Because it's not just really about yourself anymore. It's about serving others. Because you're always, chase. If it's about you, you're always gonna chase what you can get instead of what you can give. So for me, this is a kingdom business. And again, and lastly, conduct every business with integrity and excellence. That's what I did. When I first started, I have to listen to Dan and Nikki's BPM and write word for word and memorize that and just. I said, I'm so afraid not to be able to explain this and all that. But, I just learned everything from scratch. And again, so if you're new here, this is your first time, don't lose heart. I was like you, and I'm still learning and growing, but I'm not that skillful or more talented than you guys. But I'm just a simple, ordinary housewife, a nurse. It's just that I have a supernatural Jesus in my heart that gives me, extraordinary strength and passion to serve others. So, all this fame and success will be nothing if Christ is not in my heart and in our business. Thank you so much, guys.